guys, I am not a chocolate cake fan, chocolate cake with chocolate icing, until I made this sourdough discard chocolate cake. It is moist and so fabulous. We love it. Okay, let's talk about discard. Okay, this is my sourdough starter. But when you feed your starter and your starter matures, you use it. Well, there's always some left. So I have some left over here. Then before I feed it again, I've got to discard some. I have a jar of discard, which is just inactive starter in my refrigerator. This is made with either sourdough starter discard, or it could be made with mature sourdough starter. So that's what I'm going to use this for. So first we have to make what I'm calling the sponge, but basically it's the part you mix up the flour, the coconut oil, this is organic, the filtered water, the spring water, and the sourdough discard, and you let it sit for, you don't have to let it sit, but if you want the probiotic qualities where it's fermented, you can let it sit for up to 24 hours. So we're going to mix that up first. So here we go. I've got my 2 cups of the organic unbleached all-purpose flour in here. We're going to add a 1/2 cup of the coconut oil. You can buy this, anywhere around home. It is the organic coconut oil, so we're going to get it, put that in there. You do not have to melt it. I used to think you did when I first made this, but you really don't have to. So we're putting the coconut, so we use that instead of butter or oil, because it's much better for you. So that, then we're going to have, you can use the same cup, 1/2 cup for your sourdough discard. And we're going to use our wooden spoon to get that out of there. I wish I had a gram measurement for this. I don't, so we're just going to eyeball it. So that's going to go in. Let me see here. Get every bit of that out of there, because that's what's going to help me to ferment this to make it better on me. It does have sugar in it, but it's going to make it better than it would have been without. And then 1 cup of the filtered water. Okay, I love this thing. This is called a Danish dough whisk. I use it for all kinds of things. And it's good to mix this up because your coconut oil, remember we didn't melt it, so it was kind of semi-solid. So I'm going to mix it till I've got everything, all of my flour incorporated into the wet ingredients. And it's going to be like a loose dough. And you're going to be, what is this? But trust me, it's going to work out. Okay, this is it. That's what it is. Okay, now I'm going to cover it. I've got a towel over here, but I don't think this is going to be big enough. But anyway, I'd get a towel that was big enough. And I would cover it or with something where it would not get dry. And then you can let this sit. You can use it right now, or you can let it sit for up to 24 hours for it to ferment so that you can get those probiotic qualities. So let's do that. We're going to let it sit, and then we're going to come back and we're going to finish up our chocolate cake. Okay, guys, we mixed up what I'm calling the sponge, and here it is. This is flour, the organic flour, unbleached, the organic, no, not that, but the organic coconut oil, filtered water, and the sourdough discard. All right, I made this yesterday. So this has been sitting for almost 24 hours. So that's my sponge. All right, we're going to first put in here our dry ingredients, which is going to be 3/4 of a cup of the organic baking cocoa. So there's that. All right, we're going to put in our salt, sea salt, and our sugar. All right, this sugar is organic cane sugar. You can see that it's not quite white. It's not been bleached. We're trying to be as healthy as possible, even though we are using sugar. All right, we're going to mix those up just briefly. The dry ingredients, I'm just going to do it just a little bit. Okay. Then we're going to do our eggs. These are brown eggs. Actually, these are eggs I got from a friend of mine who has chickens. We know that the brown eggs or the pasture-raised chickens are going to lay better eggs. Look how yellow that yolk is. These are all better for you. Have no antibiotics in them or anything like that. So we're going to put in our eggs. There goes our eggs. We're going to add our milk. 1 cup of whole milk. We're going to save our baking soda till later. We're going to put in our vanilla. Now we buy vanilla. This is Mexican vanilla. That's a glass container, not plastic. That's the way I buy it, just like that. And then we're going to put our sponge in. Look at there. Look at that. Look at that beautiful. Look at the beautiful holes in that. That's amazing. Guys, I'm just telling you. Look at there. Look at there. Look at this. And this is a cake now. A cake that you don't have to feel bad about eating. Now, true, I admit it, as I said earlier, it does have sugar in it. Organic cane sugar. But a cake is a cake is a cake, and what's a birthday without a cake? So if you're going to have a treat, we're trying to make it as healthy as possible. So in here goes the rest of those ingredients. I'm going to turn it on. And while it's going, I'm going to show you how I do my pans. So they're kind of special to me. I don't even know if you can buy them like this anymore. The bottom comes out. But what I do with my pans is on the bottom of them, I line them with wax paper. So I'll just show you what I do. I'm going to do 2 at one time. I guess you do what your mom did. This is what Mother did. So there's my base. And I had some scissors out here. And I'm trying to see what I did with my scissors. And I don't know what they are, so I'm just going to get another pair. I just open them up like this. And I score the base to my cake pans. Now I'm going to cut what I scored. If I couldn't take out the base, I would just set the whole pan, cake pan on here, and I would just trace around it like I did. Uh-oh, I'm not going through 2 levels there. Let me go back. It's like cutting a pattern and missing both the 2. All right, I'm almost through. All right, we're going to get all this together. I've never had a cake stick with this. All right, we're going to use this avocado oil spray. You can also use olive oil spray. They carry that at the store. We'll put that in there first to make sure the sides don't stick. All right, let's do the other one. Now we're going to put the wax paper in the bottom. All right, and lastly to this, we're going to add our baking soda. Baking soda is in a little container right there. Here we go. And mix that together well. I do not know why the recipe calls for adding the baking soda last. I just have no idea. But it does, so that's what we're going to do. All right, get these ready. Make sure everything's mixed up well. Now, the recipe says that you can add coffee granules. People say that makes it taste more chocolatey, which we can do. I don't do that because I guess I don't want it more chocolatey. I think it's chocolatey enough. But that is something you can do to add a teaspoon of granulated espresso or coffee, instant coffee. Okay, so we're going to take this out. and get all the goodie off of it and put it in our pans. Let's see which way this needs to go. There we go. Just going to eyeball what would be half. All right, we're going to put this in a 350-degree oven until it's done. Now, this is going to be really thick. It's going to make a big layers, thick layers. It's going to be great. So, we're going to do that. I saw somewhere where it said to spin it. So we'll see. I'm headed over to the stove. I'm going to put this in a 350-degree oven. I'm going to do that and let it sit for 30 to 35 minutes, and then we'll check it when it's done. Guys, we're ready to make our buttercream frosting, which is so fabulous. So I have the organic butter, and I put 2 sticks in here. Let it soften. I put 2 sticks in here for 5 minutes. All right, now I'm going to slowly add my organic cocoa and then my powdered sugar. So this is, if I don't do it slow, it's going to poof up everywhere, just like my milk did earlier when I made it. So here we go with the cocoa into my butter. All right. Let me turn this off for just a second. Let me turn my watch off. All right. Let's go around to make sure that butter is getting incorporated into that cocoa, the organic cocoa. All right, here we go. Going to turn it on low. I'm going to speed it up later. Okay, there's that. And then we're going to go slowly with our powdered sugar. This is 2 cups of confectioner's sugar or powdered sugar into this mixture, which is 2 sticks of organic softened butter. I whipped that for 5 minutes, and then I added a half a cup of the organic cocoa powder or cacao powder, depending on what you get. I buy mine in bulk and use it. Okay, this is very thick because there's no liquid in here yet. All that's in there is butter, cocoa, and powdered sugar. All right, that's all that's in there. Okay. It's really thick. It's not ready. Okay, let me scrape it down the sides. And the only other things in here are heavy cream and vanilla. Remember our vanilla, the Mexican vanilla that we got? Okay, this is 2 teaspoons of vanilla. And then we're going to go do 3 tablespoons of heavy cream. This is the organic heavy cream. All right. 1, 2, 3. Now, the recipe calls for 3 to 4 tablespoons of heavy cream. So whatever consistency you like, I'd start with 3 and then go from there. Let's see what that looks like. All right, let me check it. Guys, I think I'm going to have to add that other tablespoon of heavy cream. Today, it's not very humid, it's pretty dry, and I think I'm going to have to add the other one. Just depends on the day. Here we go. Okay, meanwhile, we have our 2 layers of cake that I have baked. The sourdough chocolate cake that I baked. And let's put together our cake. All right, let me check this. Oh my goodness. Guys, I'm just telling you. Let me scrape it down one more time. Let me tell you what, in order to scrape it down well, let me take it out. Because a lot of the cocoa is being on the sides. I'm telling you what, I think I'm going to add, I think that I'm just going to have to put another tablespoon of cream in here. That's what I'm going to do. So, let's see. Scrape this. All right. Put it back on the base. And one more tablespoon. So I'm going to say, instead of 3, which is what the recipe says, 3 to 5. All right, let's let it go. Okay, boys and girls, that's it. Let's take this lovely frosting off. Out of here, scrape off our sides, and get to work. Here we go. I love my offset spatula. It helps me out. Offset, this is offset. You can buy these at the local stores. I have a big one and a small one, and I love them. Okay, so let's just start in the middle. It's going to make a lot of frosting, so you don't have to be skimpy with it. See how thick that is? I'm glad we added the extra. This is a turntable that I bought, and it really does help me when I get ready to ice cakes. I don't have to keep turning the cake around and around. You don't have to be skimpy in the middle. Sometimes when you make frosting, you know, it's just not enough, but this is plenty. All right, there we go. Now let's do the next layer. Guys, I'm telling you, it's beautiful. Beautiful. All right, here we go. Let's see how far that'll go on the top here. When I make my cakes, I don't try to frost them perfectly. I think there's something about an imperfectly frosted cake that says homemade that appeals to me. All right, let's get our big offset spatula, and let's see what we can do on the sides. All right, here we go. I'm not the best cake decorator, but then who is, right? We're just going to cover it. And we're going to be thankful it's not white, because then it really would be hard to make sure all our chocolate crumbs are not seen, huh? However, here lately people are doing what they call naked cakes, which I kind of like, because it's not so much frosting, and it's okay if you see the crumbs. All right, here we go. I'll go back and pick that up. Man, I'm really glad I added that extra, because I needed it. Because it would have really been too thick without it. All right, let's finish this gap up right here. Don't judge me, guys. It's not going to be perfect, but that's okay. That's okay. Oh, guys, it's so good. Ah! I wish you could be here to taste it. But if you took the class, you tasted it. Or if you follow the recipe, you'll taste it. And this is sourdough. Remember the gut health, all of the good things. Now, you could decorate it with sprinkles or chocolate shavings or anything you wanted to. But it's honestly perfect as is. There it is. Sourdough chocolate cake.